Hi, I'm Deacon Rodney, and I'd like to welcome you back to the Bible-based Bible study. I encourage you to be involved in a good Bible-believing, Bible teaching church where you can get involved with other believers and sort of sharpen yourself. I'm a member of New Faith Baptist Church International here in Madison, Illinois, and I encourage you to come and visit us. The Reverend here is Reverend Dr. Neil D. Felder, and he's got a lovely preaching and teaching wife also, Reverend Dr. Alexis L. Felder. Come and join us. I guarantee that you have a wonderful and blessed time. We're getting ready to get started in chapter 12 of the book of Genesis. And this is a chapter that's important to all the people that foundate their religion on Father Abraham, because we're about to get introduced to Father Abraham for the first time. So we know the account of Terah. We know that there was some issues going on in the life of Terah. We know the children that he has, but some things I want to make you aware of. Okay? This is, I'd say, a basic English lesson when you're reading anything. There's a narrator that's telling a story about somebody here. So you have to be aware that the narrator is telling a story. He's telling a story about somebody. Now, the people in the story can have their various issues, but the person telling you the story, the narrator, if you cannot believe in that person, you can't believe they're telling you the truth, then there's no point in you even listening to the story. So a question is going to come up here regarding the relationship of Abram and Sarai. So hopefully you've gotten your Bibles and we're about to get into reading Genesis chapter 12. We're going to talk some more about it after we're done with this reading. So here we are at Genesis chapter 12. The Lord had said to Abram, leave your country, your people, and your father's house, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all the peoples on earth will be blessed through you. So Abram left as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated, and the people they had acquired in Haran. And they set out for the land of Canaan, and they arrived there. Abram traveled through the land as far as the site of the great tree of Morah and Shechem. At that time, the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, to your offspring I will give this land. So he built an altar there to the Lord, who had appeared to him. From there he went on toward the hills east of Bethel and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. Then Abram set out and continued toward the Negev. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to live there for a while, because the famine was severe. As he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, I know what a beautiful woman you are. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. Then they will kill me, but will let you live. Say, you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and my life will be spared because of you. When Abram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that she was a very beautiful woman. And when Pharaoh's officials saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh. And she was taken into his palace. He treated Abram well for her sake. And Abram acquired sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, men servants and maid servants, and camels. But the Lord inflicted serious diseases on Pharaoh and his household because of Abram's wife Sarai. So Pharaoh summoned Abram. "What have you done to me?" he said. "Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister, so that I took her to be my wife? Now then, here is your wife, take her and go." Then Pharaoh gave orders about Abram to his men, and they sent him on his way with his wife and everything he had. So I need you to sort of take this serious. Remember, we have to believe that Moses did not lie. If you don't believe that, there's no point in reading this or believing anything about anything that Moses wrote, because of course Moses is a liar, and all this religious stuff that we're talking about is a farce. But in this case, in studying the Bible, we put our efforts in based on the fact that Moses is telling the truth. So here we are. Abram was called out, and he was instructed to go forth to a place that God was going to show him. Now, of course, we don't know exactly where this was, but God was leading him into Canaan. Now, based on God's leadership, God was blessing him, but then they ran into a little bit of trouble in the sense that there was a famine. So based on that, they went into Egypt, but before they got into Egypt, Abram contrived a way to preserve his life, because he feared that something may happen as a result of him being the husband to this beautiful woman. In fact, he explains it. So he sort of justifies what he did that was false. Not what Moses did that was false, but what Abram did. Abram actually feared for his life. He thought that he would be killed. Okay? Now, Abram was 75 years old. He did not have any children. God had promised him certain things, and he is the father of faith, but he had a concern. He thought that he had to be active in preserving his life, and he didn't consider that God was even going to preserve his life through all these various situations that he would get into. This is an example of how God sometimes uses ordinary people. I mean, ordinary people. Remember, lots of people would call on the name of the Lord. We were all one family as we were in Babylon. We all believed in one God. And God came down and confused our languages, and the people separated and went different directions. But we were all one family, so we all knew one God. So here's Abram, and he's got this very special issue where he's called out. But his calling is not just to the line that Moses was talking to. Abram's calling was to be a blessing to all the families of the world, of all the families of the earth. You go back and see here, I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all the peoples on earth will be blessed through you. So that's verse 3. So now, there are a lot of things we don't know regarding other groups or other families. Did God call anybody else out, or did he just use this one man? This we don't know, but according to the scope that Moses was addressing, this one man is the story that he's telling us. Now, is it possible Well, God maintains a remnant, and sometimes when he calls one person to do something, he sets it up. So in case that person having free will, in case they uh, may not do it at that time or fall short, God always have a backup plan. And this is one thing that we come to discover about this God. He he works through people. He works through ordinary people. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be willing. Your will has to line up with the will of God. So here, Abram was lining up. He went where God told him to go. He didn't have any children. God told him he would bless his seed and how numerous his seed would be. But at that time, Abram didn't even have any children. So this is very, very important. And I pray that I'm dealing with it right, because I'm not actually calling Abraham or Abram, who he was at that time, a liar. But this is an opportunity to see his frailties and the fact that God uses ordinary people to get his will done. So he could use you, he could use me, and I believe he is using me for his Bible study. So I want you to know that God uses ordinary people, and the fact that Abraham falsified something for the fear of his life, God used him, and he was considered a prophet and the father of faith, even so. So I want you to keep that in mind, and I want you to join me again. Next time we're going to get into chapter 13 of the book of Genesis here at the Bible-Based Bible Study. I ask you to support this ministry. Send me something so that I can improve it and perhaps do something better with the camera that I'm using and the lighting and the situation, so that we can get more into this. I would like to have guests someday and that type of thing. But write me here at the Bible-Based Bible Study. That's Post Office Box 1839, Madison, Illinois. 1839, Madison, Matteson, Illinois. The zip is 60443-1839. So join me again. I hope you've used the other tapes and that everything has been pretty consistent. Now, I'm not trying to give you too much. I'm not trying to add anything to it that's not there. I'm not trying to take anything away that is there. I would say this, in the case of Abraham, vision always requires revision. So when he saw this vision of God, he had to do something. He had to walk out. And this is one of the things that we sort of use as we talk about we walk by faith. You have to do something to show that you have faith. So now I'm doing something. Write me and join me next time for chapter 13 of the book of Genesis. God bless you.